John 13:34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. We need to begin to rise to the point where we see ourselves as God sees us, through the eyes of Christ. We need to begin to love and appreciate ourselves the way Christ loves us. I don't even want to talk about loving our neighbor, loving others, but us as an individual, the way you love you. Have you ever sat down before and say, I love myself? Ever before? Yeah, it sounds funny, it sounds weird. Where you just sit and really appreciate you, love you. You know, there are sometimes we have some conversations with ourselves in our head that if we were somebody else, we would not want to be our friends because of the kind of conversations we have towards ourselves. How we pull ourselves down and tear ourselves down, even in our heads. Yeah, how we tell ourselves that you are good for nothing. How we tell ourselves you can never succeed at that exam. How we tell ourselves you are just wrong. You are always wrong. How we tell ourselves you are just a doormat. How did you stand there and listen to that person speak to you in that manner? And many other things and criticisms. We're our own greatest critics. And it has its pros, it has its cons, right? It's good that we criticize ourselves at times, but criticizing ourselves means that we are going to put a plan in action to begin to change and correct things, and then we find ourselves on the right path. On another hand, we criticize ourselves, meaning that we are not worthy enough or we are not good enough for whatever it is we're criticizing ourselves over. So we need to take some steps back and begin to practice this thing that we do for others or that we do to others. It's easier to love someone else. It's easier to love the other person, in the things we do, in the things we say. So we need to learn to first off see ourselves through the eyes of the Father. How does God see us? He said, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Do you know what that means? It means that we were God's enemies, and we're enemies of God, and yet He died for us. Meaning that He even saw us relevant as at then. Someone who was our enemy. Then He died for us. Now we are His children, for those of us that are born again. So if He sees all of that magnificence in us, how amazing we are, how worthy we are that He sent His Son to die for us, then we need to begin to give ourselves a little bit of credit. Because we can't give what we do not have. So we want to change the kind of conversations we have towards ourselves. It's either you take a mirror, look yourself in your own eyes, in that mirror, or you put your phone in selfie mode and then just take a good look at you. Look into your own eyes. And I'm not just saying look and look away. Really look. Look as in gaze. Look into your own eyes as though you are looking into your soul. At the first time, you might be uncomfortable. You might feel fear. You might feel hate. You might even be judging yourself. It could be anything. But even after you've looked away, I want you to look again. So take time to really look into your own self. And then say, irrespective of my criticism of me, I love me. Irrespective of how I have judged me and how I've hated the decisions that I've made, I love me. So if God sees us, He made us and said, this is good. Then who are we to say that what God has made ain't good enough? So we need to begin to change the conversations that we have with ourselves. When you begin to do that, you'll find out that your worth in your own eyes begins to change. And when that begins to change, the way other people see you, perceive you, their perceptions of you also will begin to change. You are God's masterpiece. Walk and walk like one.